You're not building wealth. You're just getting better at not drowning. That's the part nobody says out loud. You look at your income, your pay stubs, your modest savings account, and you tell yourself you're doing okay. You're not in crisis. You're not maxed out on 5 credit cards. You pay your bills on time. From the outside, it looks stable. But if one real problem hits, everything wobbles. Until you've stacked 20,000, you're not swimming forward. You're treading water. And treading water feels productive because you're exhausted. You think the paycheck means progress. Reality is, it means oxygen. Rent pulls $1,800. Groceries are $180, and somehow that's the cheap week. Gas jumps, insurance renews, the dentist finds something, the dog needs meds. You handle it. You adjust. You shift money around like you're solving a Rubik's Cube with consequences. You tell yourself this is adulthood. This is responsibility. This is what building looks like. But notice something. Every month resets you to 0. Your checking account fills up, you exhale. 2 weeks later, it's tight again. You're not climbing, you're cycling. The system is designed to keep you busy, not ahead. And here's the uncomfortable part. Being fine is the most dangerous financial category. If you were broke, alarms would go off. You'd cut hard. You'd change something dramatic. If you were wealthy, you'd feel margin, space, calm. But in this middle zone, you're functional. Functional people don't panic. They endure. You make $70,000 a year. On paper, that's solid. You get a 3% raise. That's $2,100 before taxes. After deductions, it's barely noticeable. Your rent increases $150. Groceries creep up another $40 a week. That raise evaporates before you feel it. You're moving, but the treadmill is moving too. The illusion is that consistency equals momentum. You pay down $2,000 on a credit card. The car needs $1,400 in repairs. You rebuild $3,000 in savings. Property tax hits. You're proud of surviving it. And you should be. But survival isn't leverage. Under $20,000, everything is fragile. That's the word nobody uses. Fragile. You think you're stable because nothing is on fire. Stability isn't the absence of flames. It's the presence of insulation. Right now, one layoff, one medical issue, one family emergency forces decisions you don't want to make. You're not choosing your moves, you're reacting. And reaction mode is exhausting. This is where people get defensive. So what? 20,000 is magic? No, it's not magic. It's margin. Under 20,000, money flows through you. Over 20,000, money starts to sit with you. That shift changes your nervous system. You don't realize how much background stress you're carrying until it quiets down. Think about how you make decisions right now. You check your bank app before you say yes to dinner. You mentally calculate how long until next payday before booking a flight. You hesitate at the mechanic and hope the issue can wait a bit. That hesitation is cognitive load. It drains you. You're not bad with money. You're underbuffered. And being underbuffered distorts your behavior. You avoid investing because you don't feel safe. You delay risks that could increase income because you can't afford volatility. You cling to jobs you dislike because uncertainty feels dangerous. From the outside, it looks like caution. Internally, it's compression. The reason it feels harder now isn't just inflation, it's exposure. The cost of everything is visible. Subscriptions stack quietly, 14 here, 22 there. A streaming service you forgot about. A $9 app. They don't wreck you individually. Together, they erode your margin. You cut one, and it feels petty. You keep them, and it feels irresponsible. That mental tug of war is the real fatigue. Then there's lifestyle creep's quieter cousin, expectation creep. You're not upgrading to luxury. You're upgrading to normal. A safer car, better groceries, a place without mystery smells. None of it is outrageous. It's reasonable. That's what makes it expensive. You think earning more will fix the squeeze, and it helps. But until there's a cushion thick enough to absorb impact, the squeeze returns in a different form. Here's where the tension tightens. When you're below 20,000 in liquid savings, time is not on your side. Every month that passes without a cushion is a month you're exposed. Compounding doesn't feel real because you're constantly interrupting it to cover life. Investments dip, you panic. The market drops 15%, and you consider pulling out because that money doesn't feel optional. It feels needed. Wealth building requires patience. Patience requires safety. Safety requires margin. This is the layer people skip. They jump to invest early and let it compound. That advice assumes you won't need to raid your investments when the transmission fails. Under 20,000, you're one inconvenience away from undoing progress. And undoing progress feels worse than never starting. So you stay conservative. You keep cash. You avoid risk. You feel stuck watching others talk about 8% returns while you're calculating if you can float a $600 vet bill without touching your credit card. That gap messes with your head. You start thinking you're behind. You scroll social media and see someone your age buying property. You don't see their safety net. You see the outcome. You question your decisions. You tighten further. Financial stress under 20,000 isn't dramatic. It's constant. It's the hum of low-grade threat in the background of your day. And then something shifts when the cushion builds. It doesn't happen overnight. There's no fireworks at $19,999 turning into $20,000. The shift is subtle but powerful. You stop checking your account before every small decision. You stop flinching at normal expenses. A $400 repair is annoying, not destabilizing. You breathe differently. You realize the goal was never a specific number. The goal was options. With 20,000, you can handle a job gap without panic applying to everything. You can invest without fear of needing that money next week. You can negotiate harder because you're not cornered. That's leverage. Leverage changes posture. You walk into conversations differently. You make long-term choices instead of short-term patches. You stop solving for Friday and start solving for 5 years. And here's the grounded truth. Getting to $20,000 isn't sexy. It's repetitive. It's saying no when it's boring. It's keeping fixed costs tight, even when your income rises. It's building insulation before chasing returns. It's not about deprivation. It's about durability. Once the base is thick enough, momentum feels real. Not because expenses disappear, they don't, but because they stop dictating your emotional state. You're no longer treading water. You're floating, and floating gives you the energy to swim. If this hits a little too close, that's not an accident. Most people live in this middle band and call it progress, because it looks decent on paper. If you want more conversations that cut through the polite finance advice and actually talk about the pressure people feel, subscribe. Until 20,000, you're surviving with style. After that, you start choosing your direction. And there's a big difference between staying afloat and finally having somewhere to swim.